when
all the metrics and stuff.
When the whole recruiting stuff came along.
Yeah.
Right. And how it all started, because I had no idea how good I was or whatever it was. So we played high school baseball, and then in our area was Legion baseball.
Yep.
So I did that. So the high school coach also coached Legion.
Right.
I got a call in my junior year, okay, from a guy from Bergen County, New York. His name was Steve Bort.
Yep.
Okay. He was with the Bergen County All-Stars. He called me, New York accent. Hey, my name's Steve Bort. I want you to come play for me. This is an all-star team. We're going to go to the Cabo World Series out in Euclid, Ohio. I'm like, who are you? Like, what are you talking about? What's Cabo World Series? There's a tournament that's out there. It's like 10 games long, blah, blah, blah. We'll go out there. If you get out there, I guarantee I can get you a college scholarship. I'm like,
oh, now you got my attention.
I'm like, come on now. Like, what are we talking about?
You're right.
And it was during the summertime in which I had to leave the Legion team. Okay, for this thing.
For that. Yep.
For the whole, it was like 10 days long, like 10 games. And I talked to my parents, like, all right, well, we'll go. Let's find out what this is all about.
Yeah.
I had to first make the team.
Yep.
Okay. I was struggling. I was in a slump. I couldn't hit. I had to go up for a tryout up in New York. Okay. I think it was Abraham Lincoln High School or John F. Kennedy High School, something like that. And I'm getting these guys and you know, being up there in the Bronx in that area, there's a lot of Latin ball players, Latin kids.
Manny Ramirez, all them guys.
And, you know, you're getting out there and you're like, okay, well, who's this guy? And it was some crazy stuff. So they're showing up in shorts, okay, for a tryout. And then they're going to go take ground balls and they're going to do stuff. They would put the athletic supporter over top of their shorts and take ground balls at shortstop and then take it off so they can run and stuff. I'm like, wow, what is going on here? Like, when I'm wearing my cup, I'm wearing it underneath my pants.
That's right.
You know? And it was the first time there where you did a major league style tryout. I ran the 60.
What was the time? Give it up.
I ran a 6'9".
You ran a 6'9"? Wow.
Yeah. Well, I graduated high school at 190 pounds.
Well, okay. I was getting ready to ask what gives because, man, that's good.
Yeah, but my playing weight when I eventually got really into pro ball after lifting, I was 245.
There we go. They fed you. They gave you something to eat.
Then that 6'9" went to 7'9".
Yeah.
But
that's all right.
My
just
job was to hit doubles and home runs.
That's right. Drop some runs and let the little guys do the running, man. You don't do the running. Let them do the running.
So that was like the first initiation into like a tryout, like a showcase. Okay. And then we would take ground balls. I took ground balls at third. I did my catching stuff, threw the ball to second base, took batting practice. I hit a couple balls out to center field, which was like 50 feet over a fence. And they were all just like, what?
Yeah, that's different.
Who is that?
Yeah. I mean, you sneak a couple out the left field because you turn on something. Okay. Yeah. But you start going dead center and oppo. Well, now we're different. That's a little different.
I was a dead pull hitter, but I remember I hit a ball to center field and everyone was just like, oh, wow.
That's where the big boys play.
I'm like, what? I'm like, I do this all the time. Like,
yeah.
I think my senior year in high school, I think I hit 22 home runs.
Whoa.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah. So, and our field didn't even have a fence in left field.
Okay.
So,
okay. Well, you ran a 6'9", so I mean that ain't gonna be no problem, even if it don't have a fence, right?
Yeah, but they used to play me all the way down. So we played on the backside of our football field. Okay. And there was the practice football field with no fence in left field. They would go play all the way down by the goalposts at the other end of the stadium, which is 375 feet to left field. And they would sit there. And if I hit one in the air, they would just catch it.
Right. Right. Yeah, you get
it wasn't until my senior year where they put a fence up basically from center field to left field.
And numbers went crazy, man.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. So now I can get a couple more home runs now.
So, okay. So, hey, we're hitting home runs now. You got the strong arm. How's it working as far like, were you ever recruited to go to college or was it just pro for the draft? I mean, what does that look like? That's
where everything started. So the first true tournament, was when I went to this Cabo World Series. So I played for this team. We had, of the 16 kids, I think 14 of us got drafted.
Oh, wow.
So it was unbelievable. We had guys like A-Rod's played for the team, I believe. Jeffrey Hammonds played for the team.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of guys. We had guys that came from all over. South Carolina. I remember Dino Filio. This kid was the fastest kid I've ever seen run. Okay.
Wow.
And some of these other guys, Silvio Sensali, who pitched with the Phillies organization, like we all got drafted, whether it was in high school or even afterwards after college. So I went out and I played third base. They had two other catchers. I played third base. I think I hit like 575. I was the MVP of the tournament.
Yeah.
And our best hitter of the tournament. Then somebody else got, somebody else who was a catcher from somewhere out there who I believe went to Mississippi State or somewhere else, ended up, getting like the MVP of the tournament or something. Like that. So when it was all said and done, I think I hit like 5 or 6 home runs, a whole bunch of RBIs and stuff.
In 10 games?
Yeah.
Oh man, you're on cloud 9. I mean,
so
you're just ripping.
But I was playing baseball. I had no idea what was going on. I just played. I didn't know who was there. Were there scouts there? We didn't know anything about it.
That's probably the best thing. You were able to relax and just play baseball instead of putting pressure on yourself trying to do too much. Yeah,
I was oblivious as to who was out there.
Right.
It wasn't until my senior year of high school when it started. And then we started getting phone calls and the coaches, Doc Kennedy's going, hey, we have, this guy's coming, this guy's coming. Eventually what happened was the recruitment process started to happen. And it wasn't until my junior year when all this stuff happened? It probably was because that's when the recruiting started to happen. Then it was ODU's calling, Virginia's calling. Smaller schools, Kutztown, some of the schools around here, and then it became, Texas A&M.
Yes,
and then it's like, ooh, Texas A&M. What do we got?
Yeah,
trip down to College Station.
Yep.
Went down there, went to the Dixie Chicken, met a guy by the name of Trey Witt, who I eventually faced with the Mariners organization.
Okay.
Talked about the Dixie Chicken being out because he was like my mentor. He was the one that was like walking me around town.
Okay, got you. That's out in College Station.
That's out in College Station.
Okay, got you. Yeah, I know they were probably going after you pretty hard, and that's amazing how one tournament and you light it up. See, that's the thing. So a lot of people think that you just go to all these tournaments, you don't have to perform, you just show up and something happens. It's like, no, you actually gotta. You got to play. You got to give them something to look at, right?
You got to show them that you can do something. So,
but that's an important point that you made as far as not knowing what was going on and you were just free to play. I know my first year playing in the Atlantic League, Stephen Drew was on our team. This is right when they were starting to do that whole deal where they could hold out before the next year of the draft come up. And so they would just go play independent ball and wait for them to get the money.
So I believe didn't Veritek do the same thing?
I don't know about Veritek. I know his brother. I know JD did the same thing.
Okay, it was JD.
And we had Jared Weaver also on that squad. And they ended up getting signed right before that next year's draft. But one thing he told me, we were in the
Atlantic League.
What'd you say?
Who were you with the Atlantic League?
Camden River Sharks, man. Yes, sir.
Did you have who was the manager?
It starts with a W. Don't get me to messing this up.
He passed away a little while ago.
Did he?
Yes.
No way, man.
Oh my God. What's
his last name? I want to say Warchek, or I'm going to find it before we're
going to find it.
We'll find it. We'll find that.
He was with the Brewers organization earlier, I believe. Yeah.
Yep. But I remember Stephen Drew. We were in the batting cages and we were hitting, and I was just asking him, like, man, because I'm, he's way higher level than I was. I went to, a school where we didn't get a lot of looks, and Gooses would help me out after I did well in spring training. Then that's how I got that deal there. But I remember him saying one thing. He said, Eddie, look, the day you stop playing this game like a kid, that's the day you're gonna have trouble. He's like, I don't care what stage you're on, play it like you're in the backyard. And kind of like you just said, when you played in that tournament and you lit it up, you didn't know that other guys are supposed to be good. You're just having a good time playing the game. We
lost to Puerto Rico in the championship.
Mm-hmm.
So
I lighted it up
4-3. I'm like, oof, they were good.
Yeah. But hey, y'all were right there with them. So now, okay. So you start to hit the scene. The recruiting is starting to happen, and we get to 1990. Now, did you go to college or were you drafted out of high school?
I got drafted out of high school.
Okay.
As soon as the high school season started, my senior year, I had already committed. I had committed to Texas A&M.
Okay.
I had an 80% scholarship, I believe, 85%.
Yeah.
Just after, ultimately, at some level, right before I committed, Mississippi State called. And I'm like, well, are you going to give me one of my 5 senior trips?
Right.
They're like, no. He goes, you come down on your own, you'll understand, and then you'll pick us. I go, see that. I'm going to Texas A&M. Thank you. I'm coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for watching the FCO Show YouTube channel. Like and subscribe here to stay up to date with the latest highlights and clips and keep up with all things catching.